A search for a missing escort from New Jersey named Shannon Gilbert. It turned up much more than investigators had ever anticipated, and it led to the search for a serial killer that goes on to this day. The case, it's been ongoing now for more than 2 years, and as I mentioned, it does remain unsolved. Richard Dahmer, he was police commissioner in Suffolk County at the time when the case began. He spoke exclusively to FiOS 1 News reporter Holly Hare in Bodies at the Beach, the search for a serial killer.
December 11th, 2010, which was a Saturday, the cadaver dog across the highway from Oak Beach came upon the remains of a body. At that time, everybody assumed, when I got the call from the chief of detectives, it was assumed that it was Shannon Gilbert.
Richard Dahmer was Suffolk County's police commissioner at the time. In an exclusive interview with FiOS 1 News, he recalled getting the news that Officer John Malia and his canine found remains. Then Dahmer got the news that the remains belonged to someone else.
They determined it wasn't Shannon Gilbert because she had a titanium plate in her jaw, and this remains that were found did not have that.
2 days later, they made even more grim discoveries. Former Commissioner Dahmer told us what it was like as the investigation unfolded.
This was a shock. I mean, one body was disturbing enough, but then on that Monday, when I got the call from the chief of detectives, we found another remains. And sometime later, he calls and says, we found more remains.
In January 2011, police announced they had identified the remains, all women. Maureen Brainerd Barnes, last seen in New York City in July 2007, Melissa Barthelemy, who went missing from the Bronx in July 2009, Megan Waterman, who disappeared June 2010 from Hauppauge, and Amberlynn Costello, last seen in North Babylon in September 2010.
Our investigation indicates that each of the victims had been posting ads on computer websites for various escort and other services prior to their disappearance and death.
Is this a serial killer?
I believe it is, yes.
You know, since this investigation began and really was at a fever pitch last summer, not a lot has happened, but if you think about it, and we'll talk about this on Thursday, the amount of bodies that have been found and the case remaining unsolved, and it reaches the definitions you just heard of a serial killer, we are going to remind the audience about how we got from there to here, where the investigation stands right now, with a lot of the principals involved here and that were involved at the time. And it's really an amazing development that does kind of fallen off the media radar here. So we're going to resurrect that. And again, that's this Thursday at 6 o'clock.